If they had poured the concrete all at once, it would still be cooling right now. That is not an exaggeration. The Hoover Dam contains roughly 3.25 million cubic yards of concrete. Concrete cures through a chemical process called exothermic reaction, meaning it releases heat as it hardens. A mass that size, poured all at once, would have taken about 125 years to cool on its own. The engineers figured that out before they started, so they poured it in blocks, like Lego blocks, and interlocked them as they built up the wall. To keep the heat from building up inside those blocks, they ran 582 miles of cooling pipe through the whole structure and pumped ice water through it. They had a machine on site that made the ice water. When each block cooled down enough, they pumped the water back out and filled the pipes with grout. Those pipes are still in there. The dam stands 726 feet tall, which is the equivalent of 49 hippos stacked nose to tail. The workers who cleared the canyon walls before construction could even begin had no head protection issued to them. They were called high scalers, and their job was to dangle from ropes hundreds of feet up and blast loose rock off the cliff face with jackhammers and dynamite. They took their cloth caps and dipped them in hot coal tar, let them cool, added more layers, and made them thicker until they acted like helmets. The guy who eventually industrialized the modern hard hat was there and saw it happen, and their improvised hats are why we have the hard hat we see today. The name of the dam was a political argument for 17 years. Interior Secretary Wilbur named it Hoover Dam in 1930 after Herbert Hoover, who was president at the time. When Hoover lost to FDR in 1932, the new administration refused to use that name and started calling it Boulder Dam instead. For the next 15 years, you could tell which side of the political aisle a person was on just by which name they used for it. Congress officially restored the name Hoover Dam in 1947, and that is where it has stayed. There were 96 people named as having died building the Hoover Dam, though the real number is thought to be closer to 116 because there were workers on site that nobody really kept records on. They just showed up, did the work, and got paid cash at the end of the day. The first person documented to die was J.G. Tierney on December 20th, 1921, falling off the cliff face where they were surveying for the dam. The last person to die on the project was his son, Patrick Tierney, who fell into an intake on the power generator on December 20th, 1935. The same date, 14 years apart. Imagine being the mother in that family. By 1939, the dam's power plant was the largest hydroelectric installation in the world. At full capacity, it generates 2,080 megawatts, enough to power 1.3 million people across Nevada, Arizona, and California, with Southern California getting the bulk of it. The Mexicali Valley in Mexico was a functioning farming community going back to the 1800s. When the dam went up and the Colorado River stopped reaching the sea, that water supply was cut off. A 1944 treaty guaranteed Mexico 1.5 million acre-feet of water annually. But by the 1960s, the water arriving was so salty from farm runoff on the U.S. side that it was destroying crops. It took until 1973 for the U.S. to pass another agreement and build a desalination plant to fix the quality problem. By then, the damage was done. The valley was basically destroyed as a farming community, and the ecosystem where the Colorado River meets the ocean never fully recovered. Now, the lake itself is dropping, and the electrical output has dropped 40 to 50% since 2000. There is an argument going around that it is not just a drought, that what is actually happening is aridification, where desert conditions are permanently expanding the way they did in parts of Africa. But Nevada, Southern California, New Mexico, Arizona, West Texas, Oklahoma, all of those areas have been described as dry desert territory since the 1800s. We were trying to engineer our way out of a condition that was already there by adding water and irrigation to land that was not built to sustain it.